Greetings. Well, I wasn't entirely sure if I was going to do this, but here we are. I'm covering Summerslam weekend. And of course, Summerslam weekend always starts with NXT Takeover. In this case, Takeover 30. So that's what we're going to be covering today. I'm going to be looking over here because I have a Wikipedia page open to see all the matches that have been announced so far. And seeing as I'm recording this on the day the takeover is supposed to take place, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get any curveballs right before the show starts. So, starting things off, we have ourselves a pre-show match. This is a rare occasion for NXT. They usually don't do many pre-show matches, especially not one that actually has some importance. It's a triple threat tag team match to determine the number one contender for the NXT Tag Team Championships. We have Breezango, which is Fandango and Tyler Breeze, versus Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan, versus Legado del Fantasma, represented by Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde. So, who do I think is going to win this one? Well, if you look at all the history that's been going on in NXT so far, I really don't see Fandango and Tyler Breeze winning, because they've pretty much been engulfed in the feud with Legado del Fantasma, and I think they might just continue with that. Plus, I wouldn't necessarily call them credible threats, really. Then you have Legado del Fantasma, who I don't think they're going to put them in the title picture, because the current NXT Tag Team Champions are Imperium, who are, well, heels. So I don't think that's going to happen either. That leaves Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan, who have had some run-ins with Imperium in the past, and I think they were hinting towards a match between them in the past, but they basically didn't really follow through on that. Maybe until now. And I think that's what they're going to do. So I'm going for Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan to win this match. Okay, let's move on to the card itself. And we'll start with a match that was added this week. Like, just right after the last episode, the go-home episode of NXT. Finn Balor versus Timothy Thatcher. Why is this match taking place? Well, because Finn Balor had a match to try and qualify for the NXT North American Championship ladder match, but he was screwed over in that match by an attack from Timothy Thatcher, who I believe might have been in his initial qualifying match. I'll talk a bit more about that when we get to that ladder match, but yeah, I guess Timothy Thatcher is a bit sore after that, and he wants to get some vengeance on Finn. So yeah, this match was added last second. I don't really think it was needed to be on this show, but it's happening, and considering the talent here, it's probably going to be a really good match. As for who's going to win, that's a bit tricky. After all, Timothy Thatcher has lost a little bit of momentum after he lost his qualifying match to Dexter Lumis. After all, he was the one to be beaten in that match. But Finn has also suffered a few losses recently, and I feel like you might want to build him up again, especially considering what they might be planning for the NXT Championship. I'll talk a bit more about that when we get to it. But I think ultimately I am going to say that the winner here is going to be Finn Balor. As for why he's winning, I feel like they want to keep him in title picture, and I feel like they want to make him a strong contender, considering what they might be doing. I'm going to talk about that when we get to the main event. But that's it. And that's the final, that's the only other non-title match. The rest are title matches, as far as I'm aware. Where? No, it's not. I am completely a moron, because I just looked at it, like, think they're only title matches. And I completely forgot one of the most interesting matches on the show. So we'll talk about that right now. We have a very rare occasion for NXT. WWE usually has done celebrity matches a lot of times. Hell, a celebrity match even main evented WrestleMania once with Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow. And we're doing a celebrity match here as well, as former U.S. football player, podcast host, and yada yada yada. Pat McAfee is facing Adam Cole. Yeah, this is an interesting one. You know, I've been watching this program, and I was not really expecting a match to happen between these two. Like when Adam Cole showed up on his show and cut that promo and yelled at him and acted like, then I just thought, okay, they're just building up Adam Cole to be maybe more unhinged after losing the NXT Championship, so maybe that's what we're going with. Nope, we're going in a match with Pat McAfee. And Pat McAfee is the heel, because he's disparaging wrestling and making Adam Cole look like a joke. Oh, joke because he makes a lot of short jokes. He knocked him out with one kick. Hicken has been hammering that into him and saying his legacy means nothing now because a non-wrestler knocked him out with a single kick. And yeah, that's not to say Pat McAfee hasn't been doing great work here. His promos have actually been really damn good. But I have to say that I'm concerned. Adam Cole is great, but I've never seen Pat McAfee in a match. And if I'm not mistaken, this will be his first match. First and only, maybe? Who knows? So, I don't know. I really don't know what to do. And as for who's going to win, it's tricky. It's honestly tricky because usually WWE likes to have celebrities win these celebrity versus wrestlers matches. But this is NXT, of course. They don't operate by those rules. But I don't know. It's difficult to say because it could be a way to build up some growing tensions that have been going on in the Undisputed Era. And we could be seeing maybe Adam Cole loses and the Undisputed Era finally has enough and kicks him out of the group. Maybe they make Roderick Strong the new leader. Who knows? But there's a very good chance that could happen. But I can't for the life of me think that that's what they're actually doing. Actually, I think they might actually just be moving in the direction of maybe turning the Undisputed Era face. Because they've done all they can as heels. Maybe they can turn them face. That's the best thought I can come up with. Sorry, my computer just went to black. So I'm going to say Adam Cole is going to win this match. That's my official prediction. I think Adam Cole's going to win this match. I don't know if the match will be any good, but it's certainly an intriguing match. You'll have to excuse if you hear some sort of music in the background. My mom inherited an accordion recently, and my brother's been playing it a lot. Anywho, moving on, we have now we move into the title matches. Let's get the one I think is the easiest one to predict first. The NXT Women's Championship match. We have Io Shirai defending her championship against Dakota Kai. Now, in the weeks leading up to this, Dakota Kai had won a number one contenders match involving Candice, Rhea Ripley, and Tegan Nox, I think? Maybe? I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, Dakota... or did she beat Rhea Ripley thanks to Mercedes Martinez? I don't remember exactly what happened there. That might have, the latter might have been what actually happened. Anyway, Dakota Kai then won the match and proceeded to have a few weeks where she tried to say that she was acting alone, that she wasn't going to be helped by anyone. This one, and which was weird to me watching the show because I was thinking, where the hell did Raquel Gonzalez go? She just sort of disappeared without an explanation. And then on the go home show for NXT, Dakota Kai antagonized Io. Io attacked her, and Raquel returned, and she knocked down Io, showing that Dakota Kai will have Raquel Gonzalez in her corner. But even with that equalizer, no, Io Shirai is retaining. I'm pretty certain of that. Io hasn't held the title for that long, and I gotta be honest, I really don't see Dakota Kai as a proper challenger for her. The match might still be good, but I don't know, they haven't built her to look like a credible threat for the championship. And I don't really see her as being the one to take the title from her. I personally have some stock in that Candice LeRae might be the one to take the title from Io, but for the time being, I think Io Shirai is going to retain. Match might still be good. I mean, Io Shirai is phenomenal, and Dakota's not bad either. But yeah, I think ultimately Io Shirai is going to retain her championship. Next, we move on to a match where we're guaranteed a new champion. It's the NXT North American Championship ladder match for the vacant title. For those of you who are unaware, Keith Lee was the North American champion for quite a while. He then challenged Adam Cole with with both championships on the line. He won, had both belts for about a week. Then he decided to vacate the North American Championship. And let everyone else get a shot at it. So, in order to crown a new champion, they decided to hold a tournament, some qualifying matches to put in 5 men in a ladder match to fight for the vacant title, and these were it was going to be triple threat matches. We were gonna have triple threat matches for each qualifier. However, that got a bit derailed towards the ending, because in the first match, because we had I think 3 we had 2 confirmed participants before things went off the rails. We had Bronson Reed, who won a triple threat match with Johnny Gargano and Roderick Strong, I think. I think that was it. And then you had Dexter Lumis win a triple threat match with Finn Balor and Timothy Thatcher. I think, at least, that was the case. However, then, I think during the qualifier match, Dexter Lumis got injured. He had to be taken out of the match, and thus they had to change things. Now, they already had planned to do another triple threat match, which was Kushida versus Cameron Grimes versus a mystery opponent. But because of Dexter Lumis's injury, they had to come up with a different strategy. So, for how to determine the next opponents to determine the next 2 to qualify in the match. So they decided that whoever wasn't pinned or submitted in the triple threat matches was going to get a second chance. So you had Johnny Gargano, wait, am I forgetting something now? Because I just remember that doesn't really add up, does it? I'm not sure if I'm remembering. Anyway, the point being, hang on. Oh yeah. I forgot there was another qualifier I forgot about. It was Ridge Holland, Damian Priest, and somebody else I don't remember. Damian Priest ended up winning that match, pinning the guy who wasn't Ridge Holland. So Damian Priest, so it was Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, and originally Dexter Lumis who had qualified, but Dexter Lumis got injured, so they had to do a new one. So again, they decided to have the people who were. So in the Bronson Reed one, it was Johnny Gargano. In the Dexter Lumis one, it was Finn Balor. And in the Damian Priest one, it was Ridge Holland. Then they had the final triple threat match, which was Cameron Grimes versus Kushida versus a returning Velveteen Dream. I'll talk a little bit about that afterwards. Anyway, Cameron Grimes ended up pinning Kushida, so he advanced. And then we had the last two qualifying matches. We had Johnny Gargano versus Ridge Holland. Johnny won. And we had Finn Balor versus Velveteen Dream. And as I mentioned, Timothy Thatcher cost Finn Balor the match and Velveteen qualified. So now we have all 5 competitors. And I've spent quite a long time on this entry, so let's just quickly go over the ones I don't think are going to win. Bronson Reed, he stood tall at the end of the go home show for NXT Takeover 30. Yeah, he's not winning. Johnny Gargano, I have a feeling we're not. I just feel like Johnny might not be. I just have this feeling Johnny's not going to win that championship. I don't know, there's something about. I feel like Johnny has some bigger fish to go for rather than the North American Championship. Maybe he would be a contender for the NXT Championship. Who knows? But there's a part of it that says they're not going to put the belt on Johnny. I think they want to use the title to make some newer stars, I think. Or give some... because one thing, the reason Keith Lee relinquished the belt in storyline was to give up-and-coming talents a shot to rise up the card and win that championship. And having someone who was the first ever Triple Crown NXT champion, I don't see him seeing Johnny being the one to win it. Which of course brings me to Velveteen Dream. Now you could discuss that part of having Velveteen being a former North American champion, that he shouldn't win it again. But that's not the reason why I think they're not going to put the belt on him. It's that Velveteen Dream is a very controversial figure these days. For those who are unaware, Velveteen Dream was implicated in some rather serious accusations that I'm not going to really discuss here because it's not my place to talk about it. But either way, after Takeover in Your House, he was taken out of action for a while. Some believe it had something to do with these accusations. Other sources claim that he was in a car accident. But either way, when he returned, it caused a bit of a stir within the wrestling fandom because they felt like they hadn't heard any sort of counter evidence to these accusations, and therefore he probably shouldn't have come back. I admit I'm not exactly all that happy about seeing Velveteen Dream here because, while I would like to trust that WWE has done the proper investigation, I am not entirely sure I can buy into that. But I don't know for certain. And it's not really my place to talk about it, even though I just did, so sorry about that. But yeah, he's such a controversial figure that I feel like it would be a bad look for WWE to put the belt on him now. So he's in the match, but I feel like they would be extremely foolish to give him the belt. So that leaves us with the two contenders I haven't talked about. Damian Priest and Cameron Grimes. So, who do I see winning this? Now, one can make a very strong argument for Damian Priest. He's been on the cusp of really being something big in NXT so far, and winning the North American Championship is probably a good stepping stone for him. But I have this feeling that maybe they want to instead have Priest chase the belt a little bit, because I think he's recently turned babyface, but I'm not entirely sure about that. They might want to do that, or perhaps put some other babyfaces in the hunt for the most cowardly, most annoying, and so damn good at what he does, Cameron Grimes. I'm going for Cameron Grimes on this one. I think he's actually going to take it to the moon. Sorry, I had to do that at least once. Yeah, Cameron Grimes is who I'm going for. It might be a bit of a risk, but to me, I only see two possibilities. It's either going to be Cameron Grimes or it's going to be Damian Priest. Logically, it's probably going to be Damian Priest, but I'm taking a stab here and going for Cameron Grimes. And then, now we're done with that long tirade, it's finally time to talk about the main event. Or as I presume is the main event. The NXT champion Keith Lee defending his championship against Karrion Kross. This one is tough. On the one hand, Keith Lee has not held the NXT championship very long. This is in fact his first takeover in which he is the NXT champion, because the last takeover, Adam Cole was still the champion. Keith Lee won the title on an episode of NXT. Keith Lee has defended the NXT championship twice, I think. I think he defended it against Dominik Dijakovic, and I think he might have defended it against maybe that was just a match with Cameron Grimes. Has he faced Finn Balor for it too? I'm not entirely sure. But I think he has had very few title defenses. He's been booked to look like a really strong champ. He's been booked to look like a really strong competitor throughout NXT. Now he's the champ. Now he's the NXT champion. But he's going up against a challenger who has been on an equal bit of a tear. But he debuted He debuted not that long ago. He had a really somewhat one-sided match with Tommaso Ciampa at NXT In Your House. So they're building up Karrion Kross to look like a big deal, a big monster here. Would you really have him lose a match like this? I am really torn about this. Because you have a guy who hasn't held the belt for that long, and a guy whose momentum is dependent on winning this man. And this was why I was talking a little bit about the Finn Balor stuff. I was saying that Finn Balor was going to beat Timothy Thatcher because they might be moving towards having Finn Balor as a credible challenger to the NXT Championship against the new champion, Karrion Kross. And I think, ultimately, that is what I'm deciding to do. I think my decision is they're going to do something very, very risky. They're going to put the belt on Karrion Kross. I went really back and forth with this one, but I'm going to say Karrion Kross is going to win the NXT Championship. It wasn't an easy decision to come to, but I think that's what they're doing. I could be wrong. We'll see tonight. But that's my prediction. So, because this video probably went a bit longer than I thought it was going to be, here's a quick summary in case you in case you don't remember what I picked. For the pre-show, I'm picking Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. Then I'm picking Finn Balor, Adam Cole, Io Shirai, Cameron Grimes, and Karrion Kross. So yeah, those are my prediction. I'll see you later for my thoughts on NXT Takeover 30. I'll probably just record that as soon as the show is over. See you then.